Okay, and welcome. So, we are going to be looking at software development today. So, we said that
Okay.
software development is simply when you create solution to problems by coding, by writing software, by programming. So, you create solutions. Now, we have a man called Mark Zuckerberg. He looked at the world and found out that there is this problem of connectivity between people that have graduated from the university. They can't connect. They don't. They find it difficult getting back together. So he developed Facebook, and people are able to connect. So he's solving a problem of connectivity, and he's one of the richest man in the whole world. So if you can create a solution that solves the problem in your community, you can make a living from there. You can get to start working. You can get to become an entrepreneur that will do a whole lot of things. So that is what software developers do. They create solutions to problem by writing codes. So how are they able to be equipped to write codes? By learning programming languages. They have to learn either JavaScript, Java, C Sharp, Python, or any of these programming languages. Once you learn them, you'll be able to write programs. And once you're able to write programs or write codes, then you should be able to solve problems when you build an application that solves a particular problem. Example of applications that solve problem, I said before, the banking app that you use. You're using a banking app. You say you use Zenith Bank app, is it? Is that what you use?
Yes.
Okay, so instead of going to the bank to key up, being on the road traffic in Lagos is something else. Just to make a transfer over the counter, you can use your phone and make a transfer using the bank app. So software developers like me and you built that bank app, and that is what you're going to be learning how to do. And I say that software development simply means the process of conceiving. You have to conceive the idea that you want to write code about. You want to develop a banking app or an Uber app. You have to conceive first. You have to think about it. Think about the problem you want to solve. So it's the process of conceiving, specifying, designing, programming, documenting, testing, and bug fixing. So you have to conceive it first in your head that this is the solution I want to create. Then you have to specify. In specifying, you're picking out the features that you want that app to do. I want this app to be able to do transfer. I want it to be able to open accounts for customers. That's specification, product specification. Then you have to be able to design. Use an application called Figma to design the interfaces, the user interface, the platform you want to build. You have to design it so that you can be looking at what you want to build. Then you have to program. That means you have to write the code using Python, using JavaScript, using HTML, using C Sharp, or any language that you'll be learning. Then after programming, you have to document so that another person can understand what you've coded and so that you can collaborate with other people on the work. Then after that, you have to test that application to see whether it's working. And if you test it's not giving you what you have to do bug fixing. So all these processes are involved in creating and maintaining applications, frameworks, and other software companies. So you have to do this. That is what you do. So the integral part of this software development is programming. And we're going to be learning how to develop programs by learning programming languages. And I've said you have JavaScript, you have Python, you have several programming languages. But today we're going to be starting with the basics, which is HTML, a markup language that the browser understands, as well as CSS, cascading style sheets for making our HTML to look beautiful before we move over to JavaScript. So that is what we looked at, and we said that there are two major aspects to this software development. That you can have the front end, which is what you're seeing here. All these things are known as front end. Front end is what you can see, the fonts, the colors, the style, the user interface that the client or somebody visiting your website interacts with is the front end. Whereas the back end is the server, your database. That database that powers the front end is your back end. Then went on to explain what a front end is. So a front end is simply known as the client side development or client side application, and it is simply using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Those are the major tools that you use in building the front end, and you're going to be learning all these. So it is this that very side that the client or the user interacts with directly, and you're going to find out that there are many tools that are going to be that you're going to be using in building the front end. So some of the tools include and some of the things you need for you to become a front end developer includes a laptop, and you also need an editor. And some of the editors that we have are VS Code, Atom, Sublime Text, Notepad. In our case, we are going to be using VS Code. You're also going to be learning Git, a version control system, and you're going to be learning HTML, the basics of HTML. I'm going to be teaching you that, basics of CSS, the Google fonts that you're going to be using to design your application. We're going to also be looking at CSS libraries like Bootstrap, Tailwind, Materialize, SARS, Less, and the rest, and also jQuery and React.js, which is the main framework that we'll be using for your front-end development. Then we'll say that the back end is the database, the logic, and you're going to be learning how to use JavaScript to write a back-end logic. You're also going to be learning the database that the logic is going to be connected to pull data from in order to serve the front end with enough data to do what it wants to do. So on the back end, you're going to be learning how to write REST APIs. You're going to be learning how to work with components by writing the real logic that can do that. So that is what we're going to be learning in backend. And some of the languages and tools used in the backend includes, but not limited to, PHP, Python, JavaScript, Java. And in our case, we are going to be using JavaScript. The frameworks include Laravel is the framework for PHP, Django is the framework for Python, Express.js is the framework for JavaScript, Spring Boot, this is Boot, B-O-O-T, is the framework for Java. So what framework does is that they make it easier to use their language. So we're going to be using Express. The database, which is a collection of data that you use for the backend. There are many types. You have the MongoDB, you have the MySQL, you have the Postgres, Oracle. So in this our class, I'm going to be teaching you MongoDB, MySQL, and Postgres. They also have web servers like Apache and Nginx. We have a containerization tool known as Docker, and you have Postman for testing REST APIs, and Jira for collaboration. If you want to be able to work with other developers, Jira is the tool for project management that enables you to collaborate with other developers and also monitor how the progress of your development works. Okay, so you can have a front-end engineer working in a company together with the back-end engineer. The front-end will be specialized in the front-facing, the client-side app, what the user of the website or application sees when they go to the application. Whereas the back-end person works on the business logic and the database, how they connect together with the front end. The web designer is the person that will use something like Figma to draw what the front end person will build. So before you code, when you conceive and specify, you have to design so that somebody will be looking at that design and be writing the code, because that will enable the person to be more effective. So those are the things we looked at. And immediately after that, we went on to install two major things. And I said the two major things you need for you to start coding immediately is Google Chrome. So Google Chrome is the number one. So you can just simply go to internet and type, if you don't have Google Chrome, simply type in Google Chrome. So you can say Google Chrome download. So once you say space download, you can be able to see how you can download Google Chrome. So once you click here, you should be able to download Google Chrome. So that is how you get the Chrome, because you need it for you to see what your
Hello,
develop.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, please, can you just give me like 1 minute? Let me switch to Wi-Fi, please.
Okay, please do that. Okay, so you back?
Yes, just one thing. I'm trying to make sure the laptop is not charging. I'm trying to make sure it's charging. But I've switched already.
Okay.
Hold
So we
on.
can continue.
Anytime, please. Wait, just hold on, please. I'm trying to make it. This thing, network, the stuff is not charging. It's shaking. Like that. Yes. I removed the full charger for you. Try it. Put it in that. Yes, we're looking at the office. Oh, okay. It's not, it's still there's nothing inside. Oh no, please. It's the charger.
Okay. Yeah. Are you back? Hello?